The vastness of deep space stretched before the UES horizon like an endless canvas of possibilities. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's observation window, her dark eyes reflecting the distant stars as she contemplated the strange readings on her neural display. After 15 years of interstellar exploration, humans had grown accustomed to being alone in the cosmos. But today felt different. Captain, we're detecting unusual energy signatures at coordinates 247 Mark 89. Lieutenant James Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. It's unlike anything in our database. The energy pattern pulsed with an otherworldly precision that made Sarah's spine tingle. Humanity had spread across 12 star systems, breaking through countless technological barriers along the way. Their ships were powered by controlled quantum fluctuations, technology that many had once deemed impossible. Yet these readings suggested something far more advanced. Analysis? Sarah asked, turning to Dr. Maya Patel, the ship's chief scientist. Maya's dark fingers moved through the air, manipulating the three-dimensional display of the energy signature. It's artificial, Captain. The pattern is too perfect to be natural. But what's fascinating is the efficiency. It's operating at nearly 99.99% perfect energy conversion. Sarah raised an eyebrow. Human technology typically operated at 85% efficiency on its best days, and that was considered revolutionary. Location: edge of the Helios Nebula, approximately 6 light hours from our position. James responded, "Should we investigate?" Sarah didn't hesitate. Humanity had fought too hard, lost too many lives to the harsh realities of space exploration to let fear hold them back now. Plot and intercept course. All stations on alert status 2. The horizon's quantum drives hummed to life, their carefully controlled chaos propelling the ship through spacetime. Human engineers had learned long ago that perfect stability in quantum mechanics was impossible. Instead, they'd developed systems that embraced and harnessed the inherent uncertainty. 4 hours later, they'd made visual contact. The alien vessel, if that's what it was, hung in space like a perfect geometric sculpture. Its surface gleamed with an impossible smoothness, making it look more like a computer rendering than a real object. "We're being scanned," Maya announced, her voice tense. Multiple frequencies, incredibly precise. Before Sarah could respond, the ship's communication system activated on its own. A figure appeared on the main display, tall, ethereal, with silvery skin that seemed to flow like liquid metal. Its features were geometrically perfect, almost artificially so. "Greetings, human vessel." The being spoke in flawless English, its voice carrying an odd musical quality. "We are the Vridari. We have been observing your species' expansion with great interest." Sarah straightened her uniform, aware that she was representing all of humanity in this moment. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earth Ship Horizon. We come in peace and welcome this opportunity for dialogue." The Vridari's expression shifted in a way that might have been a smile. "Your response is noted, Captain Chen. We find your species fascinating. Your approach to technology is unlike anything we have encountered in our 100,000 years of spacefaring civilization. We would be honored to share knowledge and culture," Sarah offered diplomatically. Indeed, the Vridari's perfect features arranged themselves into what might have been curiosity. "Though we must admit, your methods seem remarkably primitive. Your ship's power core, for instance, it operates through controlled instability. Most inefficient." Sarah felt a flicker of pride-tinged defensiveness. "We found that sometimes the most stable path isn't always the most effective one." "An interesting philosophy," the Vridari responded. "We would very much like to study your technology more closely. Perhaps we could arrange an exchange. We have much to teach you about proper efficiency." As the conversation continued, Maya caught Sarah's eye from her station. The scientist's expression was troubled as she studied the readings from the alien vessel. Something about their perfect efficiency, their flawless technology, felt wrong. But neither of them could have guessed that this encounter would reveal just how powerful imperfection could be. The Vridary's dismissal of human technology as primitive would prove to be more than just a cultural misunderstanding. It would become the first note in a symphony of revelation that would shake both civilizations to their cores. For in the chaos of human innovation lay a strength that perfection could never match. The power to adapt, to evolve, and to survive in a universe that refused to be tamed. 3 weeks into the cultural exchange program, first observer Helios of the Vridary stood motionless in their observation chamber aboard the Eternal Symmetry, watching footage of human nuclear containment protocols. Their silver skin rippled with what their species considered concern as they reviewed the data for the 4th time. Most troubling, they communicated to second observer Artemis. The humans deliberately build failure points into their systems. Artemis's form shifted, geometric patterns flowing across their surface in a display of confusion. Clarify. Why would any species intentionally design imperfection? The chamber's walls displayed multiple holographic feeds of human technology in action. A fusion reactor in Sydney automatically venting plasma during an earthquake. A quantum drive redistributing power load during a solar flare. A defense shield adapting its frequency to match an incoming attack. They call it redundancy, Helios explained. They assume failure will occur and design systems to survive it rather than prevent it. Meanwhile, aboard the UES Horizon, Maya Patel was making discoveries of her own. She sat in her lab, surrounded by holographic displays showing analyses of Vridary technology. Captain Chen stood behind her, both women frowning at the data. Look at this, Sarah. Maya pointed to a particular reading. Their systems are perfect, too perfect. There's no redundancy, no backup systems, no capacity for adaptation. They've achieved absolute stability in their technology. Sarah leaned closer. And that's bad because the universe isn't stable, Maya replied, pulling up another display. Quantum mechanics, thermodynamics, even the fabric of space-time itself. Everything exists in a state of controlled chaos. The Vridary have somehow forced perfect order onto their technology. But what? But I think they've painted themselves into a corner. Their technology can't adapt. It either works perfectly or fails catastrophically. There's no middle ground. Back on the Eternal Symmetry, the Vridary Council had convened. Their perfect forms arranged in a precise geometric pattern as they shared data about their human observations. They utilize radiation for medical treatment, one council member noted with what might have been horror. They deliberately damage cells to promote healing. Their AIs are programmed with random variables, another added. They claim it promotes creativity and problem-solving. Helios absorbed these observations, their form pulsing with growing unease. Most concerning is their military technology. Their weapons are designed to be unpredictable. Their shields randomly modulate. Their tactics embrace chaos rather than order. Perhaps, Artemis suggested, this explains why they survived the Great Filter. The chamber fell silent. The Great Filter, the mysterious force that had eliminated so many promising civilizations throughout the galaxy's history. The Vridary had survived it through perfect preparation and absolute control. But the humans, they had survived it through adaptation and evolution. On the horizon, Maya's research had led her to a startling hypothesis. She rushed to the bridge, finding Sarah in her usual spot by the observation window. "Captain, I think I understand why they're so interested in our primitive technology," she said, slightly out of breath. "Look at these long-range scans of their ship." Sarah studied the data, her eyes widening. "The hull, it's deteriorating." Maya nodded eagerly. "Their perfect systems can't handle the natural entropy of the universe. They've achieved absolute stability, but at a cost. They can't evolve, can't adapt, can't survive in the long term." Sarah finished, understanding dawning in her eyes. The Vridary, meanwhile, had reached a consensus. The humans represent a potential threat, Helios announced to the council. Their embrace of chaos, their deliberate imperfection. It defies all logical advancement. We must study them more closely. Agreed. The Council responded in perfect unison. Begin deep analysis of all human systems. Understanding their chaos may be crucial to our survival. What the Vridari didn't realize was that their pursuit of understanding human imperfection would lead them down a path that would challenge everything they believed about progress and survival. For in their quest to understand humanity's chaotic nature, they would soon face a crisis that their perfect systems could never handle, a crisis that would prove once and for all that true strength lies not in perfection, but in the ability to adapt and overcome. The warning came not with a bang, but with a whisper, a subtle fluctuation in spacetime that the Vridari's perfect sensors dismissed as impossible. The humans' primitive detection systems, designed to adapt to unexpected phenomena, caught it first. Captain Chen, Maya's voice cracked through the Horizon's comm system at 300 ship time. You need to see this immediately. Sarah was in the lab within minutes, her uniform hastily donned. The holographic display showed what looked like a tear in the fabric of space itself, spreading like a crack in glass. What am I looking at? A quantum cascade failure, Maya explained, her normally steady hands shaking slightly. It's as if reality itself is unraveling at the seams, and it's spreading directly toward both Earth and Vridari space. On the eternal symmetry, the Vridari were finally detecting the anomaly, but their response was very different. Their perfect systems, unable to properly categorize the phenomenon, simply kept recalibrating endlessly. Impossible, Helios stated, their silver form rippling with disturbance as they reviewed the data. Our sensors must be malfunctioning. Such a breakdown in fundamental forces cannot occur. Yet it is occurring, Artemis countered, displaying the readings. And our standard protocols are proving inadequate. The Vridari Council convened an emergency session, their perfect geometric arrangement now showing subtle signs of disorder. As they debated, a transmission from the Horizon arrived. Vridari Council, Sarah's voice filled their chamber. We've detected a critical spatial anomaly approaching both our territories. We believe it's a fundamental breakdown in the quantum structure of spacetime itself. We request immediate collaboration to address this threat. The Council's response was immediate but unhelpful. Our systems show no such threat. Your primitive sensors must be malfunctioning. Maya, standing beside Sarah on the Horizon's bridge, couldn't contain herself. With respect, your systems are wrong. They're too perfect to recognize an imperfect threat. The universe is breaking down, and if we don't work together, both our civilizations will be destroyed. A tense silence followed. Finally, Helios spoke. Explain your reasoning. Maya launched into a detailed explanation, supported by data from the Horizon's adaptive sensors. The quantum cascade is causing a breakdown in the fundamental forces holding matter together. Your perfect technology, based on absolute stability, won't be able to adapt to these changing conditions. Our primitive systems, designed to handle chaos and uncertainty, might be our only chance. The Vridari Council's perfect composure showed its first real crack. Impossible. Our technology represents the pinnacle of advancement. It cannot fail. As if in response to their denial, a sudden shockwave of distorted spacetime ripped through the region. The eternal symmetry's perfect systems began to falter, while the Horizon's adaptive technology automatically reconfigured itself to handle the new conditions. Their shields are failing, James reported from his station. The quantum cascade is affecting their precision systems first. Sarah watched as the massive Vridari vessel began to show signs of stress, its perfect surface developing microscopic flaws. Transmit our shield modifications to them, she ordered. Whether they want our help or not, we're not watching them die. The Vridari Council, faced with undeniable evidence of their system's vulnerability, made an unprecedented decision. We request your assistance, Helios transmitted, their perfect voice showing the first hints of uncertainty. Our technology appears to be inadequate for this situation. As the humans rushed to help the Vridari adapt their systems, Maya made another disturbing discovery. "Captain," she called out, her voice grave. "The quantum cascade. It's not a natural phenomenon. These patterns, they're too regular. Someone or something caused this deliberately." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine as she studied the new data. The threat wasn't just a random cosmic event, it was an attack. And as both civilizations scrambled to respond, they would soon discover that their different approaches to technology were more than just philosophical differences. They were about to become the key to survival itself. The quantum cascade tore through space like a hungry predator, devouring the perfect order of Vridari systems in its wake. Aboard the Eternal Symmetry, Helios watched in mounting horror as their flawless technology began to fail, system by system. "The cascade is accelerating," Maya reported from her temporary station on the Vridari flagship. Captain Chen had sent her to help integrate human adaptive systems with Vridari technology. Their primary power core is showing signs of destabilization. Helios's silver form rippled with distress. "Impossible. Our containment is perfect." "That's exactly the problem," Maya countered, her fingers flying over the hybrid interface she'd jerry-rigged. "Perfect systems can't adapt. We need to introduce controlled chaos into your power distribution network." On the bridge of the horizon, Sarah coordinated the joint fleet's efforts to track the source of the attack. The quantum cascade hadn't appeared naturally. It was a weapon designed to target the very perfection the Vridari had achieved. "Multiple signatures detected at the cascade's point of origin," James reported. They're ships, Captain. Unlike anything we've seen before." The main screen showed ghostly vessels emerging from the quantum distortion. Their forms seemed to shift and change, defying the laws of physics themselves. "The Entropy Collective," Artemis's voice came through the comm. We thought they were a myth." The truth hit both civilizations at once. The Entropy Collective. Beings who had embraced chaos so completely that they had become one with it, had decided that the Vridari's pursuit of perfection was an affront to the natural order of the universe. Their weapons are designed to amplify entropy, Maya realized, studying the readings. They're not just attacking the Vridari's technology, they're attacking the very concept of order itself. The horizon shuddered as the first wave of entropy weapons struck their shields. But unlike the Vridari vessels, whose perfect defenses were crumbling, the human ship's adaptive technology began to learn and adjust. "Our shields are reconfiguring," James announced. "Efficiency at 65% and holding. It's not perfect, but perfect is what got us into this mess," Sarah interrupted. "Maya, what's the status of the Vridari integration?" In the Eternal Symmetry's engineering core, Maya worked alongside increasingly desperate Vridari engineers. "We're introducing controlled quantum fluctuations into their systems," she reported. "It's like teaching a robot to dance. They're fighting it every step of the way, but it's working." Helios watched as human chaos was deliberately introduced into their perfect systems. Every instinct screamed against it, but they couldn't deny the results. Where pure Vridari ships were failing, the hybrid systems were holding. "Your imperfection," they admitted to Maya, "it has strength we did not understand." The battle raged across the sector, order and chaos clashing on a quantum level. The Entropy Collective's weapons should have been unstoppable, but they hadn't counted on humanity's unique approach to technology, nor on the possibility of Vridari adaptation. They expected the Vridari to fail completely and us to be too primitive to matter, Sarah realized. Instead, we're teaching the Vridari to bend instead of break, while their technology is giving our adaptive systems a framework to build on. The hybrid fleet began to push back against the collective's assault. Human chaos and Vridari order, working in harmony, created something entirely new, systems that could maintain stability while adapting to change. "Look at these readings," Maya called out excitedly. "The quantum cascade. It's starting to reverse. Our combined approach is actually healing the damage to spacetime itself." The Entropy Collective's attack faltered as they encountered something they hadn't thought possible: perfection and chaos working together, each making the other stronger. Their weapons, designed to exploit the weaknesses of either extreme, proved ineffective against this new synthesis. As the battle turned in their favor, Helios turned to Maya with an expression that might have been humility. "Perhaps," they said slowly, "we have been pursuing the wrong kind of perfection. True perfection lies not in unchanging order, but in the perfect balance between stability and adaptation." The lesson was clear. Survival in an ever-changing universe required both the stability of order and the adaptability of chaos. As human and Virdari ships fought side by side, their combined technology creating patterns of beautiful complexity, both civilizations began to understand that their differences weren't weaknesses to be overcome, but strengths to be shared. 6 months after the Entropy Collective's defeat, the space around Earth shimmered with a new kind of energy. Where once perfect Virdari ships and utilitarian human vessels had orbited separately, now a combined fleet showcased the marriage of both civilizations' technologies. The ships' hulls rippled with adaptive patterns while maintaining precise geometric forms, a visual representation of the revolution both species had undergone. In the newly established Joint Innovation Center on Luna, Captain Sarah Chen stood beside Helios, watching Maya Patel and a team of Virdari engineers work on their latest project. The laboratory hummed with a harmony of human chaos and Virdari precision. "A year ago, I would have considered this impossible," Helios admitted, their silver form now showing subtle, intentional variations in its pattern. Deliberate imperfection as a path to advancement. It seemed illogical. Sarah smiled, watching as Maya's team activated their latest prototype, a quantum drive that combined Virdari stability with human adaptability. Sometimes the most logical path is accepting that logic has its limits. The prototype engine pulsed with life, its energy signature dancing between perfect geometry and controlled chaos. Unlike pure Virdari technology, it could adapt to spatial distortions. Unlike pure human technology, it maintained unprecedented efficiency. It was something entirely new. "The Entropy Collective did us a favor," Maya called out from her station, monitoring the test. "They forced us to confront our assumptions about progress. Their attack on perfect order taught us all that stability without adaptation is just stagnation." The Virdari had changed the most in the aftermath of the crisis. Their cities, once monuments to unchanging geometry, now incorporated organic patterns. Their technology, previously designed to eliminate uncertainty, now embraced controlled chaos as a source of strength. "Our philosophers are still debating the implications," Helios said, watching the prototype's performance curves. "Some argue we had achieved perfect imperfection all along, the flawless execution of flawed designs. Others suggest that our pursuit of perfection was itself an imperfection." A holographic display showed the progress of the Joint Fleet's exploration initiatives. Where the Virdari had once mapped space with rigid precision, they now sought out anomalies and irregularities, understanding that the unknown held opportunities as well as threats. "The Entropy Collective hasn't been seen since their retreat," Sarah noted, "but they taught us something valuable. The universe isn't a problem to be solved. It's a reality to be embraced, chaos and all." Maya joined them, her excitement visible as she pulled up the latest test results. "Look at these readings. The hybrid systems are achieving things neither of our civilizations could have managed alone. We're not just combining technologies. We're creating a new way of thinking about progress itself." Throughout the solar system and beyond, the impact of this new philosophy was evident. Human colonies, once focused solely on survival, now incorporated Virdari principles of harmony and efficiency. Virdari installations, previously unchanging, now evolved and adapted to their environments. "We've received reports from the deep space probes," Helios announced, bringing up a new set of data. "Other civilizations are taking notice. Our hybrid approach is challenging assumptions across the galaxy about the nature of technological advancement." The implications were staggering. Together, humans and Friederi had stumbled upon something fundamental about the nature of progress itself. True advancement wasn't a linear path toward perfection. It was a dance between order and chaos, stability and change, precision and adaptation. We're already seeing applications beyond technology, Sarah observed. Medicine, architecture, artificial intelligence, the principle of perfect imperfection is revolutionizing every field. As they stood there, watching humanity and Friederi working side by side, the truth was undeniable. What had started as a clash between opposing philosophies had evolved into something greater than either civilization had imagined. They had discovered that strength lies not in eliminating flaws, but in understanding how those very flaws could become advantages. The stars beckoned through the laboratory's observation dome, no longer a void to be conquered with perfect technology, but a frontier to be explored with wisdom born of both order and chaos. In their differences, humanity and the Friederi had found not weakness, but the key to unlimited potential. Perhaps, Helios mused, watching a new hybrid ship prepare for its maiden voyage, this is what true perfection looks like, not the absence of flaws, but the perfect integration of imperfection itself. As the ship engaged its hybrid drives, its energy signature pulsing with beautiful complexity, no one could deny the truth of those words. In accepting imperfection, both civilizations had achieved something truly perfect: the ability to grow, adapt, and evolve together in an ever-changing universe.